Now, we've had the ShakeAlert system available on our phones for about 6 months, and also other organizations and utilities, for example, water utilities, also use it to shut down valves and things if they know shaking is coming. But right now, the setting on this system here, at least in the state of Washington, may be too high to avoid nuisance alerts.
Earthquake, earthquake.
It's been in development for years, ShakeAlert, a system to warn us how many seconds we have after an earthquake starts and before the shaking arrives where we are. In this test scenario, the quake is right off the Washington coast, and it's a big one.
So what I'm showing here is actually how the ground shaking will propagate across our region.
But what if the earthquake starts off the coast of southern Oregon? Renata Hartog helps manage the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network that monitors for earthquakes in Washington and Oregon. And along with one of her graduate students, finds that if the quake starts far away, we may not get a warning in Tacoma and Seattle that the shaking is coming.
Because this rupture takes so long to evolve, the system doesn't recognize that it's a really large earthquake soon enough to actually give a warning to Seattle.
Here's part of the problem. The fault we're talking about, called the Cascadia Subduction Zone, runs for hundreds of miles from far northern California, past Oregon, Washington, and much of British Columbia. It happens because a plate of crust making up the ocean floor is being forced under the Pacific Northwest. And the quake just doesn't happen in one place. It's an entire fault that could take around 5 minutes to rip open, like tearing a sheet. That's different than in most of California, where the ShakeAlert system was originally developed. That's not subject to the same level of enormous risk. While Southern California and the Bay Area have seen big quakes, there are far, far more that are small and more annoying than damaging.
We could make some pragmatic decisions on how to change the alerting strategy, to make that limitation go away.
Now, Renata Hartog says California may want to keep their level set at like a magnitude 5 or equivalent, saying below that they're not too worried about quakes doing damage, so they may not need that warning. But she says up here, we may want ours set to about a magnitude level 3, a lower setting, but more capable of picking up the unique situation that is characteristic of this major subducting fault. In Seattle, Glenn Farley, King 5 News.